So we're going to start underpainting with Y23. I'm trying to be very, very careful with it. I don't want it to be um, staining the rest of, like the bow, the base. Now this is B97. Odd that Y23, I always say that Y23 is very wimpy. It will help actually underpaint a B97. This time I am using 5 markers to just color the egg, which is Y23 to underpaint, B97, B95, B93, and B91. I am not very, very confident about my flicks yet. Um, your flicks come back. It's kind of like when you ride a bike. Once you don't use it, you're kind of like afraid that it's not going to happen. But once you start coloring more, you will see that you'll be able to go back to your long flicks. And I am very good at long flicks, but I was concerned that I couldn't do it. And anyway, this is egg number like 27. Okay, maybe not 27, maybe like 13. But because I was trying to use violet, but that did not work. Anyway, so we build a fence and we flick away from the fence. Remember, we're trying to blend it all. That was B97. On top of it is B95. Remember, I'm flicking as long as I can um, to be able to give it form, to be able to look round or oval. I am adding a lot of ink here because I want it to blend as much as possible. I still want the flicks to be seen. Why? Because I want to see the flicks going to form the oval. They're not just going straight, they're going on a curve, going up to meet with B91, which is the lightest color that we are using to actually blend everything out. As you can see, I'm adding a lot. I was looking in the back to make sure that I had enough ink. This is underpainting for the bow. We are starting with C4. The bow is going to be blue, but I wanted to underpaint everything first. I haven't colored a bow in a very long time, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss any parts. So this is C4 and it's going to underpaint B23. Now, when you see this project, you might think, oh my God, that's going to be so hard. It's not hard. It just has a lot of steps. But every single little step is going to give you a skill, a new skill, to be able to color whatever else you want to color. Remember, instead of thinking, I am coloring an egg and thinking, that's what I can color, an egg. No, you're coloring an oval. So on this part of the bow, I underpainting on the top and the bottom because remember it's going to go under the other parts of the ribbon. And then on top of it is going to go B23, B21, and B41, starting from the top and the bottom. So we can leave the middle the lightest. Now we're doing B23 here. I didn't underpaint this part because I wanted to underpaint under it. This is where we underpainted. This is B23. Remember, every time that you underpaint, you have to use the marker that we tested with, which is going to be the first one in your combination. This time is B23. B21 is not going to cover C4. So let's make sure that we use it all over it. This is B23. I'm trying to give a little bit more color because when this ribbon goes out and then starts making the bow, it should be a little bit darker. I'm not underpainting, but I'm using a little bit of the most saturated marker. Now here we're going to go with B23, B21, and B41 I did not underpaint it. I am leaving the little edge not colored because I want to give it some texture and I wasn't sure yet. How in the world am I going to do this texture? So we keep going and we're going to finish with B41. They are not a family combination. This is B23, B21, B41. I could have gone B26 and then start going down, but I wanted a little bit different than the blue we have on top. It's still going to all match. It's still the baby blue, but I did want something different. Color very uniform. We start with underpainting, B23, B21, B41. But I have not colored in a while. I've been coloring a little bit more lately. Um, and I wanted to see, okay, so what if I do all the underpainting first? Is it gonna be a big difference if I don't follow right away with the markers with the color that I'm gonna add after the underpainting? I do not see a big difference. Maybe for larger images that will matter, but this is a small image. By the way, don't forget this one is a free image. It's gonna be in your package, and also you can download. You have to download two things. One is the image, and the other one is the package where I show you my final product, my final project, not product, project, the markers I used, and also the photo reference that I've been using. It's a purple violet kind of color, but Copic does not make a lot of violets. And I had a really, really hard time finding something that would blend and will be kind of like pastels. That's why I changed it to blue. So the bottom of the ribbon, the bottom of the bow, I am using B23 going from the bottom up and then from the bottom down. Why? Because I want some of the shine in the middle. That means that we need to use the lightest color that we have. I underpainted, so we have to use B23, then B21, then B41. And we're going to do the same thing from the bottom up without underpainting. Don't forget to build your fences. It is important, especially if you just started. So when you finish, it doesn't look like you went over the line. So this is B21, and then the next one is B41. And these are the last little details that I'm doing for the bow. I am going to use B23 on whatever I underpainted. And then we're going to go on top of it with B21 and then B41. Why do we have to use all the markers? So it doesn't look not finished. When you use the three markers, you can tell it has a start and an ending. Now I'm going to mimic some of the underpainting, but I'm only going to use B23. So whenever I see that I underpainted before, because I'm doing the last little piece of the ribbon, I am going to use B23. I want it to look underpainted or a little bit darker. Just I didn't think that I needed to use C4. This is B21. So I noticed that I've been swishing more instead of just flicking. Swishing is very easy to do. Let me find a place where I'm doing it. So I couldn't find one, but I guess I'll show you right now when we go to the vase. Now the vase is going to be white. We are using gray markers. We're using C5, C3, C1, and C00. Could I have done it with 3 markers? Maybe, but I'm not that confident today. So we are going to use 4. So we are starting, remember, this is mm, going away on the sides. So we need it to be darker on the sides. As it gets closer to us, as it gets rounder towards us, is going to get lighter. So you see me here using C5, C3, C1. I'm going to use C00. It's only 2 zeros. Yeah, C00. Very little in the middle. And then we're going to have a lot of shadow from the ribbon. So I'm thinking, where should I get some shadow? This is a place where we should get one. And we're going to continue with all the markers. Remember, we want it to look done, as smooth as possible. So we're going to use C5, C3, C1, and very little C00. So we're starting here with C5. Okay, go grab C3. Okay, C3 and C1. We are going to overpaint with pencils. That's why I'm being more easygoing and not worrying about I need to underpaint everything under the river. The ribbon, no river. That looks good to me. And here I'm just using C1. And this is going to be C00. It's one of the darkest places, but at that moment I thought of the shape of the cup without thinking, well, I have something on top of it. It should be darker. I'll fix that later with pencils. So now I want to give more shape and form to the egg. We are starting with PC 1100, which is China blue. It's a dark, but a little bit on the transparent side. I'm trying to follow the flicks that I did with the marker so we can get a little bit more of that shape, of that oval shape. Also looking for where is the light coming from. And this time I just thought it's going to be on the front, a little bit to the right. So you're going to see me using the pencil a little bit more where I think it should be darker. If you look at the photo reference, you're going to see the shape that the shadows are projecting on the egg. I did not understand it very well. I just copied it. However it looks there, that's how it looks in person. So that's why I'm doing this kind of wave, like kind of C with the pencil. We're still using China Blue PC1100. I don't use this marker, this pencil too much. On the top, I felt that the egg was not completely round, and it was round when it started, but using the markers, it kind of lost a little bit, and that's why you see me kind of giving it a little bit more shape. Here I am using PC901 Indigo. That is the darkest that we are gonna use. It's also a transparent pencil. So while it is dark, it doesn't give you the black kind of feel. Still trying to give it some shape and form. I wanted this egg to look cute And at this moment, I feel that it's not, that it's uneven. So you're going to see me going with the pencil a lot. If you don't want to use pencils on top of your project, then you are done. But I am one that likes to use a lot of pencils, especially with something that I'm having a hard time giving a shape. And this is PC 1079, Blue Violet Lake. It's the closest that I could find and a little bit darker than B23 because I do want it to blend now that I'm doing the lines that the ribbon has, uh, but not too much. I just want it to look like it's part of it. Now here I can see the little lines going down. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going up and up and down really fast. You don't have to waste a lot of time here, but it gives it that extra Now remember that this ribbon is not flat. So your lines should mimic how the ribbon is forming a bow. So go little by little. This can be very relaxing if you just take your time. You're not in a hurry. No one's gonna die. So I'm going very slow on this because one is the first time I do this. Second, I didn't want to look like a dork that didn't know how to do it. So anyway, I'm going on the sides of the ribbon, on the edge of the ribbon, going with uh, doo, 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 PC 1079, Blue Violet Lake. So the same we're gonna do on the other side. We're gonna follow how the ribbon goes, the shape that is taking to make the bow, and we're gonna make the lines. This is supposed to be thread that you can kind of see, not too much, but you kind of see it. So that's what we're doing. After we do all the horizontal lines, then we're gonna start doing the vertical ones. Some are gonna be bigger, some are gonna be smaller. It's not even. And this side, that's when I realized, the lines should have been a little bit slanted. If you look at the photo reference, you're gonna see that they're a little bit slanted. They're not square. So I am doing it on this side. So usually I am coloring something and then I look at it and I'm like, it needs this, it needs more this, it needs more that. So I feel like many times I leave things half done until the end. Now the marker is all done, but the pencil, I'm leaving little things here and there just to make sure that at the end, my egg is not super deep. It has a lot of shape and a lot of depth, and then everything else looks flat. So little by little, we're going to be building how it all looks together. Same pencil. And now we're just going to go really fast so we can finish this ribbon. Don't forget to subscribe and go download the package and the image. Also, if you color it, would you tag us on it so we can see how you decided to color it? I usually do not see how people color whatever I'm teaching, so I would really appreciate if you do color it, and then if you have questions too. We have a group. The group is in the a Facebook group. It's in the description, and you can post it there and then ask, "What did I do wrong?" I'm pretty good at telling you what's going on. Not to fix mine, but to fix yours. Yeah, I'll be able to. So now I am using PC936, which is slate gray. This is First, very, very sharp. And we're going to go on the edges where I think is the darkest on the ribbon. Like right there where one part of the ribbon touches another one and is on top of it. Let's make it sharper. Now I'm using it to separate a little bit the edge of the ribbon, to make it look like one part is under the other. And of course, in the edges, making sure everything's sharp. It doesn't look overdone, like over the line. Just giving a little bit of touches. This is one of my favorite parts. And now we're gonna start adding the dots. You might think, oh my God, how am I gonna do this? Just put one and then the other and then the other. And then in between those two, right below, we put another one. Between the next two, we put another one. This, what I'm using is a Sharpie water base white color, extra fine point. I really, really like this one. Once it dries, it's good. So I'm following the same pattern, going one here, one here. Make sure you test the marker, the water base marker, before you start on your ribbon. Sometimes a lot of it comes out and it will be pretty hard to remove it. If you can see the dot closest to right now, the one up, is turning purple. It's turning a little bit red. And that is because I used the dark purple pencil. And now when I'm rubbing on it, it's kind of bringing that color. I'm supposed to add more white later so I can remove that, but I do not remember if I did that. And all of a sudden, you're done. For that, that's all we're doing on the ribbon. This is it. And now we are going to start giving more shape and form to the base. And there are two ways to do this. One, you think, what would look farther away from me? That's going to be darker. What is under something else? What would get a shadow from the ribbon? Or go to the photo reference and just copy whatever you see in there. You might see something that does not make sense, kind of like earlier when I told you about um, the light, how the light was going to be hitting the egg. Where would I see it? And when I started doing the pencil work on the egg, I was not sure that it would look okay. But now that I see it finished, it looks pretty good. This is the little base of the base, I guess. So I do believe that it should be darker. And then, of course, I'm always looking again. Do I need to push anything? Does anything look like should be farther away? This part is scary. So this is the same egg, the same size. And if you see, I'm moving it to the left and then to the bottom a little bit. This is how I'm going to do the shadow. I can do it on my own. I'm not that good. So this is what I do. I cut the image, another image, and then just kind of guide the pencil. I am using PC 1061, which is 30% cool gray. And I'm using the lightest that I'm going to use to do this shadow because I am afraid. I'm always been afraid of the shadows. I don't think I ever make them correct. Um, but if I'm going to start teaching you how to do it, then I guess I need to learn. And this is the easiest way that I could think of. You can barely see how I'm coloring this because I'm going very, very light with it. Again, this is PC 1061. This is 50% cool gray. The number, I can't remember the number and I cannot find it. But I'm using a pencil extender. You can find them at Amazon. They are so good because then that means that you can use your pencil until it's super duper tiny. Let me see. 50% is going to be PC 1063. That is a little bit darker than the 30% because I want to go very slow. I want to make sure I don't mess this up because as you can see, like if you can see on the top to the right of the screen, you can see two of the eggs, of the purple eggs. And then if you see to the left on the top, you see another one that is there. I don't know how many I color. So many. Again, I'm going with the same. PC 1063, 50% cool gray. And make sure that your pencil is very sharp and you are not going to pressure a lot. The pressure is very little. You can kind of see a little bit of the shadow. That's what you want in the beginning. You want it to be very light, very barely able to see it. And for that, you do need something very sharp. This one is PC 1065, 70% cool gray. I don't think I ever used the grays as much as this in this project. You can see a little bit more of the shadow now. Now I'm being a little bit more brave and I am using, no, I'm not using the 90% yet. I'm still with the 70%. I am making sure that the part that is closest to the base, the egg, are going to be the darkest. Why? Because that's where the shadow is going to be the darkest. And we're going to go all over it. Also, we're also going to shadow the base where the ribbon is giving you shadow. Now I am using PC 1067, which is 90% cool gray. I'm being more brave. And still looks soft. That's why you start with the lightest and then go on. This is the darkest that I'm going to use in this combination. It's just that you're going to be layering it so many times that is going to look as if you use something darker than this. Now, right there, I kind of want to make it thicker, the shadow, but I didn't because the way it looks on the image, it doesn't have that. And the way the image, the objects would cast the shadow would not have it thicker. It doesn't look even to me. It didn't look even to me, but I know I used my cutoff version, so there is no mistake on it. You just follow the process. It will look great. Just give it a minute. Okay, so here I'm gonna start with the shadow that the ribbon is gonna do on the base. Remember, we're gonna use the lightest. This is going to be PC 1061, which is 30% cool gray. And we're going to do the same technique. We're going to go slow, very sharp pencil, and then we keep adding. We're going to go with PC 1063, which is cool gray. And we are also using 70% here, 70% cool gray, which is PC 1065. And on top of it, we're going to use very little of the 90% cool gray, PC 1067. So while you see me shadowing this, I have a question for you. Now we have released two coloring videos, two Copic for Beginners videos. One, which was the Valentine's cookie, was separated in two videos. One, which was all the Copic coloring, and then the second one, the next week, we posted the one that has the pencil work. Today, we are doing all the project in one take. Well, no, not one take, but in one video. Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer two videos or do you prefer just one? Let me know. So, technique today, we learn texture, flicks, actually curve flicks, and shadows. That is the main thing. For me, shadows have been always difficult. But I know, I love it when you see a project and you see that they did the shadow and it looks amazing. So let's practice this, even if I have to cut off another image every single time. And you start looking at the image and it looks like 3D. It looks 3D. So learning to do shadows, it pays off. So now you're probably thinking, oh my God, there's so much pencil in this project. It looks dirty. It looks not good. Don't worry. Just give it a little bit. Don't even look at it. Put it on the side. Look at it tomorrow. Don't look at it 2 inches away from your face, but put it maybe arm's length, and then you'll be able to see how beautiful it looks. I hope you like this project. Every month is going to be a different one. Next month, I think we have some fruit. Yes, some fruit that I think you're going to like a lot. And we're going to concentrate again in techniques, new little things that you can use for your own projects. Thank you for watching, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.